All right, good morning, traders. Today is June 18th, 2025. My name is John Carignan. I am the lead instructor and the lead moderator here in the BYOB Trading Room. Thank you for being here. Thank you, everybody out there in podcast land, digital land, cyber land. Appreciate that. Thank you for hanging out with me. Thank you for the thumbs up, the follows, the likes, the subscriptions. Appreciate all of that on my YouTube, my Facebook, and my X.com account. Appreciate all that. All the kind comments. Love that. All right, let's go ahead and drill down here, okay? So my SPY pivot this morning, 598.90 above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. All of the Fab 5 are in daily uptrends. Still in daily uptrends. SPY and QQQ made lower lows and lower highs, closing under bullish traps, but over the 17 EMAs. FNGB made an inside day, closing over a bullish trap and over the 17 EMA. Nice work on FNGB. Everybody else closed down. FNGB went up. IWM diamond down, made lower highs and lower lows, closing under bearish traps under their 17s. SPY closed with a 2-hour downtrend and a 10-minute downtrend. Gold and silver both in daily uptrends. Silver made a new 12-year high yesterday. Okay, big news on silver. Gold made a lower high and a lower low, closing inside a bullish trap over the 17 EMA. USO in a daily uptrend, made a higher low and a higher high, closing over a bullish trap over the 17. UNG made a higher low and a higher high, closing over a bullish trap over the 17. All of the commodities, due to the geopolitical landscape that we're going through today, seem to, if you've noticed, they've all got a pop. All of the basic materials, gold, silver, oil, natural gas, everything, all right? If it's brought out of the earth, not talking about the bonds, but I mean, if it's brought out of the earth, seems like everything got nice little pop today and this week due to possibilities of supplies being limited in the future. So we could get more of that. I don't know how much longer. I do think that these pops are temporary, all right? But we'll see what happens. U.S. dollar index in a downtrend still. Closed near the 98.81 area. SPY max pain for today. That would be the options that expire today. It's 599 with a put to call ratio of about 1.5 puts to each call that expires today at 415. Look at teed up and look at, there's another one here, Verve. Nice pop on those. They've been on the list for a while, so teed up's kind of breaking out right now. Let's go take a look at teed up in just a second here. What else do we got here? Let's take a look at, want to mention today at noon, all right, we got 3 presentations on sectors. You're going to have one from Doug, one from me, one from Rick, and we're going to talk about sectors. That's going to be in the combo room. If you don't know how to get to the combo room, let me help you out so I can show you how to get to the combo room. And let's go ahead and take care of that right now. See if I can get that up there. And hold on. Here we go. Up here in the combo room. Let's take a look at right here. Okay, you go to your members page, your home page, and you'll see right here under BYOB member page, you can see right here, all you do is press this and log in. That's that. Press that, it'll open up a thing and you can get logged in right there. Okay, that's it. Easy peasy. All right, they're all going to be recorded in case you miss it, but they're all going to be there for us to, probably all 3 of us will be hanging out inside the combo room. Won't be much going on inside the BYOB room, since I got limited resources, so I'm going to need to dedicate a lot of my resources over to the combo room so I can get the presentation off. Hey, good morning, Chip. Good morning, Lenny. All right, so let's talk about One more thing. Oh, yeah. Here we are this is the map. All right, this is our consolidation over consolidation. Now, this is just a theory. Now, let me just say a lot of it has been playing out. I was expecting consolidation, and then I said after this is done and we get a breakout, I was expecting more consolidation on top of prior consolidation. And it's all going to be dependent on where we see the president or the administration with the trade deals, okay? If we don't have trade deals done, I was expecting more consolidation over prior consolidation. And I don't think they're done yet. I haven't got any news on it. I don't know, but we'll see, okay? So here we are today, and let me pull up my arrows. Let me get my gold arrows. All right, and you can see where we are with the... So we moved down. We're not quite at 593, but you can see last night we got down to about 595. So we're right here right now. Okay, so we didn't quite get down to 593, but we got down to 595. Maybe we're going to 593 or 591 today. I don't know. We'll see what happens. We're still caught underneath that downtrend line. We'll look at that in a second. Maybe not. Maybe we put in a higher low and we wind up coming back up to visit these highs that we had right here and right here. Okay, so that's where we are. I'm expecting this and then back up. Now we may put in, thanks Bob for sharing that. We may put in an extra V like down to here before we have a half back and then a breakout, okay? Just like we did here. So we may put in an extra one while we're waiting for trade deals to get finalized. I don't know if they're done. I don't know if they've been started. I don't even know if they've been scheduled. So we're going to get an FOMC announcement today. But I got to say, I don't think there's going to be much coming out of that FOMC announcement today. Unless we've got trade deals done. Now, if maybe they make some announcements later today. Trade deals are done, and everybody's going to be, tariff neutral or we're going to have free trade. In other words, no one's going to tariff us, and we're not going to tariff them. I don't know what's going to happen. Hopefully, we get a free trade agreement whereby our friends and neighbors are going to, not tariff us and we don't tariff them and things work out. We'll see what happens, okay? But anyways, that's where we are with the consolidation. You can see we moved up through here, back to here. Now we're a little bit further along. We got down to 595 last night. Possible we head down to 593, maybe even 591. And then I'm looking for a return back up. We'll see what happens. But I don't know if FOMC is going to bring us good news or bad news. I really don't see anything good coming out of it because I don't see Mr. Powell being able to make a decision. I don't see him being able to do anything. I think he wants to do a rate cut. But I don't see him being able to do a rate cut, not without tariffs being finalized. So we'll see what happens. Maybe he does do a rate cut, and he decides that, after tariffs are done and trade deals are finalized, we'll, tackle it with whatever the fallout is. I don't know. So it should be exciting to see what happens at 2 o'clock today. Okay, so there is the SPY consolidation over consolidation roadmap. All right, right there. So I'll take that off. And let's go take a look at some charts. All right, let's take a look at right here. Okay, we'll start off with, let's start off with a 10-minute chart. You can see we had a little 10-minute downtrend. Not much, more of a consolidation coming into the close yesterday. 3 EMA it was really moving over to the right, consolidation. 3 EMA wound up closing underneath the 8 EMA, so I'm going to call it a 10-minute downtrend. coming into the close yesterday. So I'm looking for a continuation of that 10-minute downtrend later today. Okay, I'm looking for a red candle. I don't want any bottoming tail candles. I don't want any spinning tops or doji candles, and I don't want any green candles. Okay, so I'd like to see a red candle and a continuation of that 10-minute downtrend to the downside. We'll see what happens. Okay, on the 2-hour chart, that's what I'm looking for this morning when we open up. Okay, no bottoming tails. Okay, nothing with more tail than it has body and wick at the top. All right, and nothing with I don't want any green candles because that shows bullish. That's going to show bullish control. Okay, I don't want any dojis or spinning tops because that tells me they're satisfied with the price where it is. So I don't want any of that because that's not going to help me. That's not going to help me take a trade. I'm looking for something that's a continuation or a breakout of this consolidation that we're experiencing right here. Okay, and I don't want no green candles because that's bullish control. No bottoming tails, no dojis, and no spinning tops. So I'd like a nice, decent red candle that kind of breaks through the bottom down here, the bottom of those bodies. So right underneath 597.43. Okay, that's what I'm looking for this morning at the open. May not happen. They may have another pullback to trend. We'll see what they want to do. All right, so that's the 10-minute chart. 10-minute downtrend coming into the close yesterday. 2-hour chart. Okay, you can see on the 2-hour chart the yellow 3 EMA. Okay, is underneath the white 8 EMA. So we got a 2-hour downtrend coming into the close. Okay, on the daily chart. On the daily chart, you can see we got a lower high and a lower low. We closed underneath the bullish trap, but over the rising 17 right there. It's the green dots. Okay, the bullish trap is the 3 EMA on top of the 8 EMA. If it was a bearish trap, the 3 EMA would be under the 8 EMA. Okay, so closing under a bullish trap, but over the rising 17. Okay, price action you can see with the quad lines on it. Okay, we're up here in quadrant 4. That's bullish. All right, way up there. Okay, closing over the 17 is bullish. Closing up in quadrant 4 is bullish. Closing over all-time high anchored VWAP is also bullish. Okay, making higher lows and higher highs is an uptrend. That's also bullish. Anytime you get consolidation over prior consolidation, which is what we have, okay, that's going to be bullish. All right, these are all bullish environments. All right, that we got right now, all of it. So you got consolidation right here, up over prior consolidation. That's bullish. All right, everything bullish so far, even with the geopolitical happening right now. Okay, so everything's still bullish. Hopefully we get some peace talks and get some stuff finalized. I don't think either side wants to go to peace. Anyways, there's SPY. Okay, let's go back to the game plan. Let's visit it on the 5-minute. Okay, on the game plan, we have a green erases red entry over 601.55. That's up here. Okay, green erases red over 601.55. You can see here's our downtrend line. Okay, SPY pivot this morning, 598.90. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. Okay, price action. We have a red erases green underneath 597.10. Underneath 597.10, we have a red erases green entry. Okay, I like 2 days till expiration Friday options. I like 9 days till expiration Friday options. I like them on the multiples of 5. So I like 600, 605, 610, 595. Okay, if it's a multiple of 5 and expires on Friday, those are the ones I like. So the strikes that are on multiples of 5, the expiration date is usually a Friday. You get more open interest with both of those things combined. Okay, and then with more open interest, you get higher liquidity, hopefully. Okay, and with higher liquidity, you usually get tighter bid-ask spreads. Okay, so there we are with that this morning. Okay, so I like 2 days till expiration and 9 days till expiration. $5 to $15 out of the money. I like them. I give up a little bit of performance by taking an out of the money option, but I'm also taking on less risk. Okay, taking on 5 to 15 out of the money gives me less performance. If you want the very best performing option, it's most all the time going to be the 0 DTE in the money option. All right, those are going to be your best performing options are the 0 DTE, 0 days till expiration, in the money, meaning that if you had calls and price is currently at $5.99, $5.95 calls would be in the money. Okay, out of the money would be $6.05 calls. Okay, because if you had calls and price is currently at $5.99. All right, so if you had puts, all right, in the money, all right, would be $6.05 puts. Out of the money would be $5.95 puts. All right, so that's when it comes to out of the money and in the money. All right, so I like them $5 to $15 out of the money. All right, they're a little bit cheaper, they're more affordable, a little less risk, but you don't get the performance that you would with the in the money option. Okay, I also like 10-minute uptrends over VWAP and breaking away from VWAP. I like 10-minute downtrends under VWAP that are also breaking away from VWAP. Okay, I like if those 10-minute uptrends or downtrends, okay, occur before we have a green or a red erases green. Let's say you get a 10-minute downtrend and it occurs before the red erases green. I will trade those. All right, seeing if a rubber band candle is broken or we're underneath the pivot, I will trade those. Okay, those 10-minute downtrends under VWAP before we even get to the red erases green event. All right, so it should happen if price consolidates up here and then we get a red erases green. We have a 10-minute downtrend, but it occurs up here and starts to come back down to the red erases green entry, which is 597.10. I will trade those to the downside. All right, even though we don't have a red erases green entry. All right, same with those 10-minute uptrends. If we don't have the green erases red entry, I will still trade the 10-minute uptrends. All right, provided like we're above the pivot or we have broken a rubber band candle on the top side. I will trade those 10-minute uptrends back up to this price entry of green erases red. Okay, so 10-minute uptrends over VWAP, 10-minute downtrends under VWAP. So how did we make some money yesterday? Let's just look real quick. You can see here's a 10-minute uptrend that occurred. If I put the pre-market on, you can see there's a 10-minute uptrend that occurred over VWAP up through here. And we traded calls up to the top, 601.55, where we had a triple top. Okay, traded calls up to the top. All right, up to there. And then we had a triple top where I gave a warning that we have a 5-minute triple top and we could see a hard fall. Okay, and from there we traded puts, okay, all the way to the downside past the pivot. So we traded puts from under VWAP all the way down to this area down here, 597.10. Okay, so we may see the 10-minute downtrend under VWAP. This is VWAP, the brown line. So we made calls over VWAP there and then traded puts under VWAP here. Okay, calls, puts. See the trend breaking away from VWAP? That's the brown line. Okay, that's where the money's made right there. Okay, 10-minute downtrend under VWAP. And then we move into consolidation right through there. So there's SPY on the 10-minute chart or the 5-minute chart. We traded that to the downside yesterday and made some nice profits. Okay, so there's SPY. Let's take a look at QQQ game plan. All right, QQQ game plan. Again, I like the same options. All right, I like 2 days till expiration, Friday options on a multiple of 5. Okay, strike price on a multiple of 5. 9 days till expiration, Friday options on a multiple, a strike price with a multiple of 5. This keeps moving around. I don't understand that at all, but it does keep moving around on me. I don't know why QQQ1 does that, okay? I like them 5, just like SPY, I like them $5 to $15 out of the money. Again, all right, I like 10-minute uptrends over VWAP. I don't need to have the green erases red event to trade that 10-minute uptrend, okay? I like 10-minute downtrends under VWAP. Again, I don't need the red erases green event to happen for me to trade 10-minute downtrends, okay? Again, I will be looking for those to happen long before price even reaches the red erases green event entry right there, okay, under 528. So we have a red erases green entry under 528.55. We have a bullish green erases red entry over 533. QQQ pivot 530.55. Again, I like 2 days till expiration, 9 days till expiration, Friday options on the strike price with a multiple of 5, okay? And I like them $5 to $15 out of the money, okay? I like 10-minute down uptrends over VWAP. I like 10-minute downtrends under VWAP. They are especially powerful when you see price peeling away from VWAP, okay? A lot of money to be made when you see price peel away from VWAP. Okay, so there's QQQ. Let's go back to the daily chart here and let's take a peek at what's going on with QQQ. Just going to take this and slide it out some because things might not have to be right on top of each other. All right, so price action. Just like SPY, we got a lower high and a lower low. We closed under a bullish trap. We closed over the 17 EMA, that's bullish. We closed up in quadrant 4, that's bullish. We got consolidation over consolidation, that's bullish. We're up in, over the all-time high anchored VWAP, that's also bullish. Price is moving up, holding the higher ground, that's bullish. We have an uptrend, okay? We got a higher low and a higher high, that's always bullish there. So there's QQQ, SPY, same deal, okay? Got that uptrend hanging on, all right? Up, higher lows, higher highs, that's always bullish, okay? Now, QQQ and SPY, what I like, my very best, my favorite setup, all right? It's always going to be, okay? It's going to be that 10-minute uptrend over VWAP, SPY and QQQ, okay? 10-minute uptrend over VWAP, all right? That's inside of, a 2-hour uptrend. That's inside of a daily uptrend. That's inside of a weekly uptrend or weekly candles moving up, okay, not moving down. It's inside of a monthly uptrend, okay? That's my very favorite setup, okay? Those 10-minute uptrends are going to go further. They're going to go farther. They're going to have a higher win rate. They're going to have more success with those. Again, I like those. That's that 10-minute uptrend over VWAP, inside the 2-hour, inside the daily, inside the weekly, inside the monthly, all of those in uptrends. Okay, those are going to work out more often. Okay, don't really want to play counter trend, but I'm not against it unless I see price is underneath VWAP. All right, so I'm looking for that at all times. All right, currently we have 2-hour downtrend in QQQ and SPY, so we'll see what happens there. This QQQ, again, up in quadrant 4, that's bullish. Same with SPY. Okay, up in quadrant 4, that's bullish up here. Okay, up over that all-time high anchored VWAP. We can take that out. All right, so there's daily chart. Okay, a weekly 2-day chart. Let's take a look at this 2-day chart. Okay, 2-day. Okay, 2-day chart. You can see we have not. Make sure I got it right. Yeah. Okay, on the 2-day we have not made a higher high, so you don't need a. You need to pop over the 17 right here. Okay, so we don't have. This is the first high we come to. Right there. over the 17. So they got to take out this all-time high to negate the 2-day downtrend. Okay, they haven't done it yet. Okay, on the 2-day, haven't taken out that high, so they're in a 2-day. But here's the good news: 2-day chart, price is not moving down. They might be technically in a downtrend, but they're not moving down, they're moving up. Same thing with the 3-day chart. Okay, got to take out that high. Okay, again, they're not moving down, they're moving up. All right, same thing with the weekly chart. See how the weekly made a lower low? See, here's a low. They made a lower low. That puts them in a downtrend. So now they have to make a higher high. All right, and here's the first high you come to. They haven't taken out that high yet, so they're still stuck in that daily downtrend status. But here's the good news: they're not moving down; they're moving up. All right, so you got weekly candles moving consistently up over the 17. So that's bullish. All right, so they're not quite in an uptrend yet because they haven't taken out this high. But here's the good news: they are moving up. All right, so there's SPY on the monthly chart. Okay, you can see here on the monthly chart, got a higher low. There's a low there. So you notice we didn't make a lower low. Okay, by not making a lower low, we never got ourselves into a downtrend. So we're still in a monthly uptrend right now. Okay, you can see the green dots right here. Still, everything's still green. So we're still in that monthly uptrend. So there's SPY on the monthly chart. Now, everything you see here that happened on this side is possible to happen on this side. Okay, so this right here, this going down, giving it up, is capable of happening on this side up here. Okay, just saying that there's a possibility for that. Okay, things could get really going. Okay, not saying it's going to happen, but what you see here could happen up there. All right, we're in a very volatile situation right now. All right, and price action is extremely bullish. We could see things pop way up there, okay, with FOMO and fear. All right, so there's SPY. Just letting you know that I really foresee price action making a move up here somewhere. Don't know where. I think about 650, maybe 670. But first we got to make a higher high. So first things first, make that higher high. Okay, that's first. Okay, so let's take that off. And let's go visit some of the other sectors. All right, let's start with IWM on the daily chart. Okay, you can see lower high, lower low, closing under a bearish trap, under the 17. Okay, right here. Look at it on the scratch. So we're kind of neutral through here. Okay, here's our uptrend line. We're under the all-time high anchored VWAP. That's kind of neutral right through there. We're under the 17. That's bearish. Under the bearish trap. That's bearish. Under the downtrend line. That's bearish. But all in all, we are consolidating over prior consolidation. So that part's still bullish. Okay, and we're on the midpoint. That's still bullish. So we're not up here in the upper third. We're not down here in the lower third. Okay, so just kind of neutral through here, but acting bullish in essence that we have consolidation or price action over prior price action. In other words, consolidation over prior consolidation. Okay, so that's bullish up here so far. All right, just not moving up today or the last 3 days. Okay, just having a little hard time up here at the midpoint. Okay, I do think it continues to melt up higher. So that's IWM. That's the Russell 2000. Okay, let's take a look at Diamond Dow. All right, Diamond Dow got a lower high and a lower low, just like IWM, closing under a bearish trap. That's bearish. Closing underneath the 17. That's bearish. Closing underneath the downtrend line, uptrend line. That's kind of bearish. All right, we didn't break it yet. We haven't broken any rubber band candles. All right, but underneath the downtrend line, that's kind of bearish. Over the all-time high anchored VWAP, that's bullish. We're still in the upper third, so I'm going to call it bullish. all right, up there in the upper third. If they can hold the price structure in the upper third, we still get consolidation over prior consolidation. That's bullish. If we happen to break the lower consolidation area, that would be this 418, 417 area, and come back down here, that would be bearish, okay? That would be really bad news to see them break major support, okay? So that would be the prior consolidation's lower level, all right, for diamond down on the daily chart, okay? Everything's still bullish. We're in the upper third. That's bullish. You got price structure in an uptrend still. Got a higher low, higher highs, all right? That's an uptrend. Higher lows and higher highs is an uptrend. That's bullish, okay? And we're up over that all-time high anchored VWAP. That's also bullish, all right? So, and look at the price action. Price action moves up and holds the higher ground. Kind of a sloppy hold, but nonetheless, that's a bullish environment right there. Price structure, when you have consolidation over prior consolidation, also a bullish environment. All right, so it's all about the clues, okay? It's not just reading one candle. It's reading what the candles are telling you as a group, okay? Moving up, they're telling you that they're very bullish, okay? Having the ability to hold the higher ground is telling you even stronger bullishness, okay? In the essence that they've not only moved up, but instead of giving it up, they're willing to hold structure up there for a while they rest, get a plate full of spinach and some mustard, all right, and get ready to make another move out. We'll see. So there's diamond down, the daily chart. That's bullish. Same thing's happening with IWM, all right? Again, it's the same thing. Price moving up, holding that structure, that higher ground, holding that up there at the highs. That's good, okay? Now you can see on IWM, price moves down, okay? See, it moves down and then gives it up. Okay, that doesn't make it bearish. That's just neutral. Okay, same thing as if you move up and give it up. That's neutral. Okay, moving up. Okay, moving down and moving back up. Okay, giving it up. That's neutral. Same thing on the upside. You go up, you give it up. That's neutral. Okay, what we want to see is price action do this. Okay, we want to see price action move up, hold the higher ground. Now that right there, that's bullish. All right. All right, but we need it to go a little bit further, okay? We need it to go up here into the upper third. When it gets there in the upper third, that's when it's really looking ready to invest in or to trade, okay? Up here in the upper third. Thank you, Alan, for posting all those stats. All right, so there's IWM. All right, let's take a look at FNGB. Now, we watch FNGB because it has 10 of the most heavily weighted securities in the QQQ and SPY. These 10 securities have the ability to whip QQQ and SPY around, regardless of what the other 490 securities are doing in the SPY, or regardless of what the other 90 securities are doing in the QQQ. All right? Those 10, when they move as a pack, they are able to dominate the direction of the QQQ and the SPY, okay? Doesn't matter if everything else is melting off. If those 10 are moving up as a pack, they will drag that index up with it, okay? They're powerful, okay? These are the most heavily weighted securities in the SPY and QQQ. And hence, they have a lot of influence over those two indexes. So we watch FNGB. Okay, enough about that. Price action, okay? Look at everybody else. QQQ and SPY kind of melted off yesterday. Noticed? We got lower highs and lower lows, okay? But look at FNGB. Much different story here. Okay, inside day. Okay, higher low, lower high. Closing almost over a bullish trap. And it is over a bullish trap. That's bullish. Over the 17. That's bullish. Up here in quadrant 4. That's bullish. Okay. Holding the higher ground. Look at that move up. Holding the higher ground. That's bullish. over the uptrend line bullish, over the all-time high anchored VWAP bullish, quadrant 4 bullish, making higher lows and higher highs. Okay, that's an uptrend. That's bullish. Look at this consolidation over prior consolidation. Okay, right through here. Okay, you got some consolidation over prior consolidation. Okay, that's bullish. Okay, things are looking hot here. Okay, that's looking for ready for maybe a breakout to the upside. We'll see what happens. Okay, consolidation over prior consolidation, always bullish. There's FNGB on the daily chart. Okay, that's bullish. All right, it's in an uptrend. All right, as long as this stays in an uptrend, SPY, QQQ are probably more than likely going to be in an uptrend. All right, almost guaranteed. As long as this stays in an uptrend, SPY and QQQ will be in an uptrend. So there's FNGB on the daily chart. All right, let's take a look at our technicals. T21, 22. We had a further meltdown of this we had a higher high here, and then we melted off into the buyer's chop zone, and instead of bouncing up to the buy zone, we continued some profit taking, and we wound up closing down here at the bottom near the seller's chop zone, almost into the sell zone here. Okay, so we'll see what happens today. I think maybe we visit the sell zone possibly today or tomorrow. We'll see what happens. All right, we got FOMC, so we might not visit the sell zone. If we don't hit the sell zone today, then we're probably not coming back for it for a while. All right, T21, 23. Okay, you look at the nature of the price action. Bullish gaps up that don't get filled by the bears. All right, that's a bullish clue. Okay, you got a bullish gap. All right, let's talk about those bullish gaps. Okay, bullish gap right here. Bullish gap, bullish gap, bullish gap, bullish gap. All these. That's a clue. Okay, price action moves up and holds the higher ground. That's bullish. All right. Price action up over the rising 200 SMA. Okay, that's bullish. Price action up over a prior all-time high. That's bullish. Okay, everything bullish. Making higher lows. Okay, making higher lows and higher highs. Okay, that is bullish. Okay, you can see the consolidation over prior consolidation right through here. You can see consolidation over prior consolidation. Okay, that's bullish. And then even all of that is over prior consolidation. Okay, so let's take a look at this and zoom way out. Can't get out any further. All right, so there's on the 15-minute chart. So we're looking good here. Okay, notice the price structure. Okay, price is moving up. Okay, price is moving up. Not only did it move up here and hold the higher ground, and it's moved up here and held the higher ground. Okay, and as a whole, okay, price moved up here and is holding the higher ground. Okay, that's a bullish nature. Okay, it's T21, 23. All right, let's take a look at the same chart on the 3-bar chart. Okay, it's the same thing. All right, get consolidation over prior consolidation. You got price action moving up, okay, and holding the higher ground. You get price action moving up, holding that higher ground. That's bullish. You're up over the 200 SMA. That's bullish. You made a high here. You're making higher highs over there. Okay, you can see the high here because it was green, and you got to see higher highs here. That's bullish. You've got, again, consolidation over prior consolidation. That's always bullish. Okay, you see all of this right there on top of all of this right there. Okay, that's bullish up there. All right, so 3-bar chart yesterday. What did we put in? 3 more green candle bars. Okay, so we're in an uptrend. That's bullish. Everything looking good. Daily chart. Daily chart's in a downtrend, but the good news is we're not moving down. We're moving up, as you can see by the green 17 EMA up here. Okay, in order to negate the downtrend, they got to take out this high up here. Okay, right here. Got to take out this high that occurred right there with that green candle, that green 17 EMA. If they take out that high, they will negate the downtrend status and convert the uptrend. Okay, does it really matter if it's in a downtrend as long as it's not moving down? Right? You know what I'm saying? It's moving up, so that's great. So they got to get over this flat 200 prior all-time high and this consolidation right through here and make a higher high in order to negate the downtrend. I think they can do it. I think they're set to do it. That's T2123. Let's take a look at FNGB, and you can see here's the 17th. Buying at the beginning of the day, just holding the higher ground. Up over that 200 SMA. Wonderful job. Bullish gap up, hasn't been filled by the bears. Love that. Look at the consolidation over prior consolidation. Okay, another beautiful structure for bullishness. Consolidation over prior consolidation. Okay, again, you've got to move up. All right, holding that higher ground. Okay, shows you more bullish environment. Everything's still bullish. Okay, nothing's fallen apart yet. Okay, things could fall apart. Right now, everything's looking good. Okay, you're up over this all-time high anchored VWAP. That's bullish. Anytime you're up over the 200 SMA, that's bullish. Up over the uptrend line, that's bullish. Everything FNGB still acting bullish up there. All right, let's take a look at a few sectors. We'll look at, let's take a look at XLE. The XLE popping on the geopolitical concerns. Not sure how much longer that's going to hold on. Maybe if we could get some peace talks initiated, that would help. You can see right here, over the bullish trap, over the 17, that's bullish. Okay, over the downtrend line 1, downtrend line 2, that's bullish. Attacking this all-time high anchored VWAP, that's neutral right there. Not in the upper third, not in the lower third, so we're just neutral through here. We're making higher lows and higher highs. Okay, we've moved up. Now here's the big question. Can they hold the higher ground? Notice every time price goes up, all right, every time price goes up, they give it up. Okay, see, they go up and they give it up. And they go up and they give it up and more. Okay, they go up and then they give it up. Okay, here's the question. Can they finally hold over this downtrend line? All right, that's the big question right there. Okay, it's nice that they can make the higher high, but are they just going to give it up again? Okay, notice they went up here and they gave it up for almost 3 weeks down here. They just consolidated right down here. They made the higher high, yeah, big deal, but they couldn't hold the higher ground. And they have a habit of that. So I don't know if they're going to be able to hold the higher ground. I'm just going to guess. I don't think they can. We'll see what happens. All right? So there's XLE, okay? That's neutral. Bullish to neutral up there. Notice on the bullish side of neutrality. Let's take a look at USO. Again, big high flyer, okay? Same as XLE. Got a habit of moving up, giving it up. Okay, I don't know how long this is going to last. All right? I think it goes up maybe even further, maybe even to $90 or $200. I don't know, but I don't think they can hold the higher ground. Okay, this is USO on the daily chart. I'll be surprised if they do. I hope they make a liar out of me, but I'm not feeling it. I'm not seeing it. Eventually, things cool off, and price settles into a pocket that it's more comfortable with. Okay, so there's USO. Higher low, higher high over the trap, bullish over the. Look at that rising 17. It's almost vertical right there. That 17. higher low, higher high, over the 17 bullish, over the trap is bullish, up in quadrant 4 is bullish, over the downtrend line is bullish, over the 3-year high anchored VWAP is bullish. Where would I expect high to be? Right up there. You see that post-COVID high? Right there, 92, 93. So up around 95, I would venture to say that would probably be a ceiling that they could get to. All right, 92, 93. 92 to 95 up there, okay? We'll see how long this lasts, okay? That's a 3-year high anchored VWAP, that pink line. That's that post-COVID high. So price action bullish right now. Right now it's bullish, but mainly under geopolitical concerns. So, but I don't know. They've never been able to hold the higher ground for a while. Notice every time they're up, they give it up. They go up, look, they give it up. They go up, look, they just give it up every time. Up and give it up. Look at this. Up and give it up. All right? Happens all the time. USO. UNG. All right, UNG is kind of like bottom fishing here, or anyways, it's not a very high bar set, okay? You can see that's the 12-month high anchored VWAP. You can see the all-time high is way up here at 135. Okay, so we're not giving them something really difficult to beat. Anyways, okay, you got a higher low and a higher high closing over a trap over the 17 bullish, over that 12-month high anchored VWAP. Yeah, big deal. You beat the kids at checkers. Okay, that's higher high, that's bullish. Over the downtrend line is bullish. Finally made a higher high here, so that's an uptrend. That's bullish. And you know what? Maybe this is the beginning of a beautiful thing. Okay? Maybe this is the beginning of an uptrend. I'm just going to say I'm not impressed. Okay? I'm not impressed because that 12-month high is not a very high bar that we set. Okay? We're out of the lower third, so we're not bearish. We're not in the upper third, so we're not bullish. We're just kind of neutral here, okay? Again, another one with a habit of moving up and giving it up on the energy sector. Over the uptrend line, bullish. Over the downtrend line, bullish, okay? Looking good to commence a new uptrend, but it looked like they were going to do it here. Looks like it got delayed, and they came down and put in a bear flag. All right, so we'll see what happens. That's UNG on the daily chart. Acting bullish right now, but I don't trust it. All right, who's to say this is not a bear flag with a wind up, ready to come down and make a lower low? So I'm not game for this one yet. Not till it gets up and starts making a real higher high. Like take out that high. Okay, now you got my interest. Taking out this high right here, not so much. There's UNG. Gold and silver, both in uptrends. Okay, up here in quadrant 4, that's bullish. Over the all-time high, bullish. Higher lows, higher highs, that's bullish. Silver, okay, new 12-year high. Doesn't get any better than that. That's bullish. All right, let's take a look at SMH. Up in quadrant 4, over the all-time high anchored VWAP, bullish. Making higher lows, higher highs. Closing over the bullish trap, bullish over the 17, bullish, quadrant 4, bullish. All of this bullish, SMH. XLK, put in a new all-time high day before. Not yesterday, but the day before. New all-time high. So you can see price action challenging the all-time high again yesterday. Again, bullish up over the 17, bullish. Okay, up over the bullish trap, that's bullish. Over the uptrend line, over the all-time high anchored VWAP, XLK, bullish, top of quadrant 4, making higher lows and higher highs, that's bullish. XLF takes out this low right here, and they have a downtrend. Okay, right now they're up and they're holding the higher ground, that's bullish. Okay, price action starting to fade. Got a lower high and a lower low, closing under a bearish trap under the 17. Both bearish. Up in quadrant 4, that's bullish overall in nature. Okay, up over the all-time high anchored VWAP, bullish, holding the higher ground, bullish, still in an uptrend. That's always bullish. IYT. Okay, IYT up and sloppy hold of the higher ground. Kind of looks like IWM. Almost mirrors IWM. Price action under bearish trap. That's bearish under the 17, bearish. Underneath the all-time high anchored VWAP, kind of neutral right there. Holding the over the midpoint, that's kind of neutral right there. We're not in the lower third. We're not in the upper third. We're just here hanging out at the neutral line, the midpoint. So that's just neutral, IYT. Okay, that's the transports. Here's the good news. They're up, all right, and they're holding this higher ground. They've been here since the beginning of May. All right, so since the beginning of May, they've been holding this higher ground. That's a long time to hold, all right, for a month and a half. So they're doing good, okay? They're just not setting any records, and they're not making any higher highs yet, okay? They're just up, holding the higher ground. That is bullish, okay? Now, if you look, they got a little consolidation over prior consolidation. Can't see it unless I show it to you. Here's some consolidation, and here's some prior consolidation. So a little bit over a little bit right here. So we'll see what happens. Okay, still caught underneath that all-time high anchored VWAP. All right, so like to get on top of that. Every time they get up there, they kind of lose it. All right, so here's IYT. So transport's not really helping us out much. Okay, it's kind of the wrench in the whole thing. And now, if you look at the financials, XLF, they're starting to fade. All right, we were green. See the green daily dots? Now we're getting some red. Okay, really don't want to break this candle here. Don't want to break that. XLF. All right, let's take a look at a few other sectors. SMH. All right, that's bullish. Quadrant 4. Okay, we looked at XLK. Let's take a look at the daily, the economic data. All right, for the dollar. Dollar closed up 98.81 yesterday. Still in a downtrend. Lower highs, lower lows, downtrend. Max pain for SPY options. 599 is max pain. Put to call option ratio. So they've got about 1.5 puts to each call that expires today. Economic calendar. MBA mortgage applications come out at 7 this morning. Tomorrow we are off. The markets are closed. Housing starts and permits 8:30. Jobless claims 8:30. Atlanta Fed business inflation expectations 10 o'clock. EIA petroleum report at 10:30 and a gas report at noon. FOMC announcement on rate cuts 2 o'clock. And then Mr. Powell's going to come out at 2:30 and defend the actions of the FOMC at 2 o'clock. Okay, again, tomorrow we're closed. Friday we got Philly Fed Manufacturing Index 8:30, leading indicators 10, rig count at 1, and that's it. All right, for the week right there. Okay, earnings. Okay, for earnings we've got looks like Friday Accenture got $211 billion going to report on Friday. That's about the only one over $100 billion. Okay, not really capable of moving the markets. A lot of these. CarMax, Darden Restaurants, Coca-Cola, Euro Pacific still can't find the P&L. Okay, a lot of these are familiar names, but not really market movers. Okay, you can see some more familiar names, not really going to move the markets. Familiar names, nothing there that's going to move the markets. Okay, so the big one's Accenture, and that comes out Friday morning after Juneteenth. That's our day off. All right, that's it for me for today. All right. Yep, markets are closed tomorrow. All right. I'm going to render my video. I'll see you guys in about 35 minutes, and we'll open up the market.